Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how you doing?
Good, nice to see you.
Hey. Hi. Yeah. Phil, but
Stars.
first one.
Good evening. Hello. Hey, Tom.
How you doing?
I'm Drew. I'm from Hollywood.
Oh, okay. Nice to see you.
Yeah. Rings a bell, but no. Okay. I'm part of the HOA, so I'm on health and safety. But I do everything.
Oh,
Most of the guys are trying to retire from it. Pass it to the next.
yep.
So I'm the next generation that's gonna be stuck with everything. It would be me.
You got it.
I recruited another friend to come tonight. who lives in Scotland, I'm sure he's,
Okay.
He started doing.
he's very familiar with real estate because he's a commercial lender. So I have a person to come and kind of get to know what's going on. There's just a lot of,
This was neat. I said, today is a great report. He got
I've worked with clean gas.
oh, okay. We've been dealing with a big bamboo issue at the end for
Janet, not here this week.
Well, I'm trying to deal
Janet
with
has
it.
been through that.
Yeah, I'm trying to deal with it before it gets jammed.
Oh, she personally has been through it.
Yeah. Well, we had 4 properties.
I have one.
Agenda.
Repeat, over here, President.
Do you have enough of those?
We had 4
I have one out on my,
properties with bamboo
do you have more?
center back there, yeah. The board-
Okay, thanks.
No one wants to own it or say that it was their responsibility. So it's like if you call to report it, who's liable? Because it's been there for 20 years. So I've been cutting it all down.
And it just keeps sprouting back up.
Working property?
It's bamboo, so we're cutting down all the big stalks and we're gonna wait till spring when it all pops up and then poison it.
Got to be really careful with that. Use the Genrec approved method,
Right,
or the easiest thing is to rototill.
that's why I'm here.
Because you break it up, and that stuff is very, very resilient. Even if you hit the chemical,
Yeah,
it's like a rhizome, like hops.
yep.
It pops up, but you won't get all the way back to the mother.
We have it 30, the rhizomes go 30 feet into one of the yards in our neighborhood. And it's just a mess. So I've been cutting it all down.
We'd all just stop trying, we being the human race, would stop trying to fix things in nature, we'd have less problems. Oh, bamboo makes a great shield. It's quick, it's easy, it's low maintenance. Yes, it's invasive. Oh, let's bring in the whatever critter to do this because it eats this other bug. And now that thing has no predators. It's just like, oh, just stop.
Speaking of that, do you have the Delaware contact to get people to stop spraying?
To who?
To get people to stop spraying the chemicals? Delaware subcontracts out the spraying
Yeah.
along the roadsides,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awful.
and they're killing my lawn that I take time to mow.
Go on Del.'s site, c.r.mcleod. He's the public relations guy for them. And reach out to him. He's the best person you'll find at Del. To figure out who to get to. C.R. McLeod. Been there for years. Good guy.
Thank you, dude.
Fine. Hey, nice to meet you.
I got 2 for the vaccines.
Really hard. I like your cat.
My fault. I don't like baseball caps, so
All right, hey, you know, whatever works.
this is what I have to wear all the time for working outside.
There is one out there, actually one this afternoon between the Astros and the Rangers. And then there's one tonight at 8 o'clock between the Phillies and the Diamondbacks.
We're also
We are going to make this a short meeting tonight. I don't think,
could do it on our, let's say, we could.
oh, no, just because it's Monday night, they're on, might as well. We'll
Well,
go.
they're all over in the area, so.
Wonderful
So
collection.
the last time I came to this meeting, I was not a voter, and now I am.
Also,
So I don't know if I get bad.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, Mark.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
I've seen you like 8 years.
I had hair. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Wipe the floor.
Hey, if everybody that ever came up to me and told me they voted for me, I'd be president
they
of
would
the
do
US.
it.
And there was-
We're keeping them as a collection.
The only thing I think, I always joke about that is like being 7.
The one right now,
Not the first one.
little triangle.
Second, 7.
Some of them are just triangles, and we're just.
But I didn't even get wrong. That was the
And
other
the
one.
ones that aren't.
You have more votes than
More
Delaware?
votes than any other Republican in Newcastle County.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't even know that until the guy who was running for governor said, Jesus, you beat me. And I went, what?
There's a bunch of experts that would like to work with too, which is gonna be, of course, not some idea.
go. Pretty good.
I'll tell you right now,
Yeah.
Like this guy right here.
Like Matt's running for governor.
that looks like Iron Hill.
I'll see
Okay.
him
From around here?
this weekend.
Iron Hill.
Okay, Iron Hill, like north?
Yeah, because they have a mine.
Okay.
There's a
So you don't run anymore, you don't.
Natives.
No, no, my business is doing much better, so.
Just like Welsh
Last time I did it, it always
And then we
takes
would take that
time
and
to
kind
do
of
business.
distribute it.
Yeah, so you have,
What's your business?
Property.
and if I am like not knowing
Associations,
percent, I
HOAs,
just for the fact that this is like.
Just in Newcastle County?
Yeah, all over, well, we go to GA too.
This is probably Iron.
Yep, we go to Sussex too. We have a couple communities down there, a bunch of counties.
All of these
Got,
are probably, all these ground out are probably Iron Hill. This could, this is very well worked, honestly.
Okay.
So this, they get smaller over time. This is
Can you say have different age groups there? Like that's all
Oh,
different?
yeah, well, past
They
one,
range.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll give him a gated permit, a gated permit, usually.
This is-
You can reach me, I don't know.
I'm just jealous because I can't find it.
Business card.
Every time I'm digging, I look around at the rocks.
Yeah. Doesn't have my name.
This
That's
is
the business, so.
I've been.
You send it that email, I'll still
It's
send
unbelievable
it.
to know what I'm looking for.
Yeah, we do everything. Code
These
enforcement,
are probably all the story.
Yeah, I don't know.
building services.
This
It's over around, we just got developed in Georgetown.
Iron.
We had to take, go into the HOA on the art committee and it's,
It's a nightmare.
I want to get rid of it.
A lot, I bet you a lot of these will live on.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what people are interested in.
What property?
Sally Grove.
Not allowed to say, but it's, you go that way.
I mean, we do the journal.
This way,
You guys are like.
towards HBC.
Milford Road. Right there.
Transition, developer, turnover.
So there's school 107. And just real work.
The one that's under the HOA.
The hook and line. So kind of between
And
hooks.
you look at it and put it through it. Nobody looks at it. Scan the fences. People there was.
Well, they're all over here. Right.
It's always interesting. We go through and see all
That's
of
why I
the
had to
meetings
sign up for
and
those.
boards, all in one. It's great.
How many people you have?
I'll get the minutes up to date.
Okay.
Well, then I'll go try to see it. I'll get them.
And Trish. Oh, great.
Okay, about a minute to go, I think. Unusual for me to be early, huh? Well, it's because I had a band director in high school, and he had this thing on the wall that said, to be on time is to be late, to be early is to be on time, and I revolted. Because I was lead trumpet, and all state, it didn't matter. And he was a trumpet player, and he just wanted me to be like this level. Next, next Maynard Ferguson. I'm like, I can hit the range, but I just don't want to be, you. So, any chance I could, I would revolt.
So you had Maynard Ferguson as your music teacher?
No, I had a music teacher who was extremely good at brass
And when
and
did you
trumpet.
meet Maynard Ferguson?
And he played in some very big noteworthy bands, and I had a four octave range, quadruple high C I could hit, which is pretty hard for a trumpet player, so. Yeah. Ferguson could go higher than that and break your ears at 100 yards, it was crazy. But, yeah. I figure when I retire, I'll get back into it for fun. So, okay, 7 o'clock, we're going to call the meeting to order. We could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'm going to ask Tom to lead us off. I'm going to ask you to remain standing for a moment. I don't know how many of you may have heard or found out, but our treasurer, Tom Green, passed away a few weekends ago after a short battle with cancer, and so really miss him. He was always putting himself out there to do a lot for different groups, the Knights of Columbus, his church, GHADA, obviously, and just about anybody. If they always say, if you want something done, ask a busy guy, and Tom was always very busy, very giving of his time. So I'd just like to take a moment for a moment of silence to remember Tom. Thank you, everyone. Tom kind of knew, so he gave me the checkbook about a month and a half, 2 months ago. And he said, you'll have to go to the bank to get some things changed around. So I'll be working on that later this week to get that taken care of. But he did give me all the templates for the reports. So I think what we'll do, if I can, just to get through this real quick, if I can switch and do the treasurer's report before we do the minutes, Tom. I think Tom did them last time. So I'll just do a quick and brief treasurer's report because we didn't have them from the prior month. So I've got 2 of them, and I'll go in order. As we always know, and Tom always joked, the whopping interest is always a big change on the checking account. So we started out, and this is for the August report, and the statements always come out, so we haven't got the one for October yet, it comes out this week. The opening balance was $3,410.79, and then with a whopping interest of 3 cents, that brought us up to $3,410.82. On checks, I think all the checks we were written were for 4th of July, so they were transfers into the checking to write the checks out and then canceled out. So that was the only change in the checking. And then for last month, for September, opening balance would have been that $3,410.82, and we got another whopping 3 cents of interest. So if you can do the math in your head, which I can do, $3,410.85 was the ending balance. We did get a few checks for association dues, so we have those. I will get those deposited this week. It's the usual $25, and then we did have, I think I mentioned this last month, the Hockessin Bookshelf had out the collection box for 4th of July, so they sent us a check for all the money they had collected over the summer for $85.13, so I'll get that deposited as well into the 4th of July fund, along with the dues checks that came into the post office. So we'll have that done, so there'll probably be a few additions for the next month's report. So anyone has any questions on the treasurer's report? If not, entertain a motion to accept it as provided. So moved from Trish. Do I have a second? Second. Any further discussion? One for Robert's rules. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you very much. I have spoke with my business partner, who does almost like a CPA, and I've asked him if he would help out doing the financials until we can get somebody to do that and get everything taken care of at the bank. So if there's no objections, I was going to have him here, but we've got a meeting, so we're splitting our time. His name's Joseph Hackman. I just call him Joe. So what I'd like to do is, if we could, is to vote to have Joe be the acting treasurer for GHADA until such time as we find a volunteer, and we'll have him do the fancy reports going forward until then. So if there's no discussion or any comments, we'll take a motion to appoint Joe Hackman as the treasurer. Yes?
You don't have to pay him, do you?
We do not. No. We're all about volunteering. Okay. Matter of fact, we were joking about getting a couple of CDs or something for stuff, because rates are high right now. Not that we have a lot of money anyway. But, anyone have any questions about Joe? If not, I'll take a motion to for Joe and his acting treasurer. Trish again, maybe? So moved. Thanks. A second? All right. And all right, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, volunteer. Okay, so thank you for that. So Tom took the minutes from last meeting because Tina was unable to attend, right? which is good to see Tina back here again. Keeps her on her toes, thank you for doing that, bringing her down. I would joke about folks at night, as we get older, we can't drive as well at night, or at least we use the braille method a lot more, hit the deer, hit the corners, hit the edges, so just keep bringing Tina down, we'll be all set. So, Tom, if you have, I think you sent out the minutes, right? Did anyone not get them? If you didn't, you're not on our list, so make sure we get your email before the end of the meeting, we'll make sure you're on the list, as we send out the agenda. And Tom's been doing that since Trish stepped down, so for years of service, what, 10 years, Trish?
I thought it was 10 or 11.
I know, because we do that half-year thing.
It was one of those things.
Double digits anyway, so. I don't even want to think how long ago I had hair when we started this up here. So, that's a long time ago. So I think the minutes, yeah, they were sent out. If there are any questions or corrections, anyone see anything, I looked through them, told Tom he did a great job because I didn't have to write them. So that's how you keep volunteers working. Don't tell them they're doing a bad job, they'll leave. Tell them they're doing a great job. And he did do a great job, so. That's right, you were COVID-19 or 23, they got a new number now that we're,
It was only like a couple of days worth. It was pretty good.
COVID 1.5.
Yeah, something like
All right, so seeing no comments on the minutes, do I have a motion to accept the minutes as presented? So moved again by Trish. All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. All right, those opposed? The minutes. All right, thank you everyone. So, let's do it by agenda. All right. The good news is, the elected officials have taken the night off. Janet sent us her regrets. She's actually traveling on vacation. Like all good northerners, she decided to go look at leaves or something in Wisconsin, I believe, visit family. So I don't believe we have anybody, and I saw Mike Smith is having a meeting later this week, but I didn't see him. He may show up tonight, but I think he's at a community meeting, so if he does wander in, we'll grab him. I know there is a meeting Thursday night about DelDOT extending the Valley Road sidewalk from the back entrance, I call it the back entrance of my neighborhood, O'Kesson Hunt, up to the corner, an intersection, Valley Road and Little Baltimore. That'll be at the CACC Center up on the corner, the old North Star Elementary School from eons ago. And they'll be discussing putting that connector in, which back when Joe Moreau was our state rep. So some folks in my neighborhood don't like it because it goes behind their backyard, that's where they live, and others love it because now I'll be able to walk to the ice cream place without having to drive and lose some of the weight from getting ice cream. So it's going to be one of those interesting ones where some folks won't like it and others will love it. So they'll be having that meeting. It's at 6:30 and we'll go till roughly about 8:30. They'll show some concepts, so if you want to see what that's like. And as an aside, all new developments always get sidewalks to nowhere around them for when they can interconnect. This is one where we were the first neighborhood and there was nothing, and now everyone around us has sidewalks and we can't go anywhere without driving. So it's kind of the whole connectivity thing as we age and walk more. Yeah, I know, it's just amazing, and there's none in the neighborhood, so it's one of those things that's another new thing too. So if you're interested in that, or you have a neighborhood that doesn't have sidewalks that connect somewhere, you might want to see what you're going to be in for when you try to do this. You'll get half the people will like it, half the people won't, and some people won't care. So show up and watch the fun. If you'd like to do something on a Thursday night this week, land use report. You're going to love this, guys, because I know the Phillies game is on tonight, so we'll try to go through. I am going to rattle off the land use report because a lot has not happened since last month. By that I mean very little has happened. I think the only bombshell was that possibly Richardson's nursery is going to stay, but we're not sure yet. They've indicated that they'd like to. So the signs haven't come down, so we haven't had a chance to talk to DSM, but we'll find out before the break.
Comment about that one.
Sure, go right ahead.
I checked, I don't know if anybody knows what LoopNet is, but it's a commercial real estate website, and the owners of the property have now listed the property on LoopNet for a ground lease of $3 a square foot.
Oh.
So it looks like they may not be going through with their projected development.
Okay. Yep, he said that they've listed the business on LoopNet, which is a business real estate site, and it's listed at $3 a square foot for ground lease, which means they may not be going through with the proposal, which was with Diamond State Management, DSM for short, for the redevelopment, which was going to be a strip center. I'm adding some stuff on the box. Behind the former Exxon station, because those two parcels were put up with a plan to be combined. Former Exxon is going to be the Starbucks, of course. That's still moving forward.
How do you get, wasn't there going to be an access from the Starbucks to that?
Yep, they would all been connected. They would have gone, if you go up Yorkland, you would have had right in, right out, full access, and that would have gone through that property, across that little tiny creek. There would have been like a culvert bridge or something. And then on Lancaster Pike, it would be a right in, right out, going west. And there was a stacking. The plans were from the 2019 presentation we did here. They didn't change with the Exxon, and it was basically, think of the Concord Pets and Dover Salary, and what else is it? Grace Trail.
Small restaurants.
Yeah, but it would be something like that. It's traditional storefront building. That would go on the Richardson side, and the Exxon station would be repurposed the way it is, saving the shell, turning it into Starbucks with a big drive-through point.
So where's that in the approval process?
That is already approved on everything for it. It's already through. And it's just a matter, it sounds like the Richardson's folks may not be going through with their sale to DSM. So I'm not sure. I'll have to check with Janet, was saying that that's what she had heard as well last meeting. But I haven't seen the online final change for it. So we'll hopefully find out by next meeting in November before we get over the break. So we'll see. So we will find out. So that was that one. Valley Road, Little Baltimore, that's the Bell Dot widening project. The only thing is the meeting on Thursday night to talk about the sidewalk. 701 Valley Road, the brick ranch with a 3-car garage in front of the former McGrellis property, still waiting for demolition from Mr. Setting and site prep. No update on that at all. 520 Valley, continuing down, heading up towards North Star School, right-hand side, kitty corner from Walgreens. They're approved for that 10,000 square foot building, which must be by right because they've exhausted the commercial office plan they tried and the small community of 4 to 5 homes and residential, and the school. So they would either, and that's always the caveat, is if you can't get anything else, it can be a school, which, believe it or not, means a commercial daycare. That's considered a school under county and state code. So that was the last thing they had approved, was the 10,000 square foot building for that. So we'll either revert to residential or to a daycare center. And as you all remember, the Goddard folks had bought that out of Lantana, and they were growing at the seams and had no more room. And then COVID struck and the economy turned and nobody was going to daycares anymore. So they stayed where they are and they're fine. The PERC project, pretty much done. We're still on the checklist where they watch it, and that's the, and where's my engineer? Mark's over there. What is the PERC? Do you remember the PERC? What they, I mean, it's PERC Petro Hydro Dry Cleaning Solution, right?
Perchloral.
That's it.
Something.
Yeah. So that was the stuff that got into the aquifer, and they air sparsed it out, collected it with carbon filters, and Artesian still runs double the carbon filters over the well sites. But it's all acceptable levels, so they're just going to go into monitoring from now until hell freezes over. So that'll just be that, and it's just monitoring sites. We already talked about the former Exxon, so that takes care of that. The former Camerano Mushroom House, that's Valley Grove, as you all know. They basically are at the tipping point. We've already had the turnover meeting, and they're just waiting for the construction to finish on the last of the lots. Pretty much all of them are sold. Becky, do you know if there's any that aren't sold?
There's a couple that don't have a sold sign on them.
Okay, but there's not many. It's
On
just-
the side that we're on.
Yep. So Becky moves across the street at that nice little house on the corner. So, yeah, they've done extremely well on the timing on that. Hockessin, Harmony at Hockessin, that's up across from where Tom is, off McGovern Road. I went by the other day, and it looks like they're moving right along still. Yep. So the foundation is in, and I think once you see the next several months, that thing will just go up like crazy. There's a lot of site work and a lot of underground work that everybody, for those that were down the hill, and remember the late night traffic stops where I guess they did a water main, and had a little problem there with some water coming down on Lancaster Pike, so we took care of that. Hockessin Station, that's the former Morella site as well, the old auction house. They have no plans to start construction until next year, and then that one there will be moving right along. And as Pete has told us from the Historic Society, the marker has been placed, or will be placed. They're looking at the possibility of getting a historic marker for the house. What was the name of the house again?
Which one, the Robinson House?
Robinson House, thank you. Yeah, the Robinson House, which is the stucco house, the tan stucco with the green trim.
Yeah.
That stays as part of the redevelopment, and we'll have, hopefully Pete gets a historic marker.
After the Shirley Bula one, we're still waiting on that, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
They should do it. The state's got $1 billion surplus the last 3 years. What are they doing with all our money?
They had a new historic marker coordinator take over, so everything's been backed up.
New contacts, gotcha.
Yep.
All right, new person in charge.
Yep.
All right, Lantana Square, I talked with the Simeons, not, a lot has happened over there. As you saw, if you've gone in there, you see all these 8x8 or 10x10 angled pressure treated posts that are driven quite a few feet into the ground to keep people from mistaking the stream when it's full of water for the parking lot. You all remember that great little escapade where the guy drove off and kind of floated his car right into the culvert and had to do a rescue. So that has been taken care of. They're still looking at how to improve the stormwater effectiveness, and we have said we will help them any way possible to make that work. So that is the entirety of the land use report, and when you get the minutes for next month for this meeting, you'll also see all the council District 3, Janet's complete district of all the other projects everywhere. And a whole bunch of different things. They're all over. Not a lot of them in the Hockessin area, but quite a few. You'll see things down on Possum Park Road and Mill Creek, Limestone, Skyline Drive over in Pike Creek and so forth. But there's still quite a few. I think that we're down to a page and a half, where we were, I think, 2.5 pages at the beginning of the year. So a lot of these have moved on. But if you want to see any of them, you can also go online to the Newcastle County site, and you can click on the councilperson's district, and you can see, you can click all the projects, and they'll all come up with a nice list of everything there. And of course, Janet's aide, Linwood, more than happy to put you on her emailing list as well, so you can take care of that. Any questions on the land use report? Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Pat Saito, by the way, I'm VP of the Westminster Association.
Welcome.
Does your purview, does GHADA's purview include that section of Hercules Road?
Yes.
Okay, is there, I'm just asking because I can't, they put the entrances in and just kind of stopped. Is there, do you guys have your ear to the ground on what's going on there?
This is on as you're heading up Hercules Road towards Pike Creek
Yeah, it's
on
on
the
both
right-hand
sides,
side.
honestly.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's, hang on, Petinaro has one of the projects on the eastern side, and the
Which
west,
is the Wilmington side?
which is the Wilmington side.
Okay.
And I believe Petinaro has partnered with CCS on the right side, and they are both residential infill projects, and they are on the county's website. If you go under parcel view, and I always bring the map up, because I can't remember the street address, and if you click the one that you know, like the Greenville Overlook, I search Greenville Overlook, search that for the community, click on any property, bring up the map, and then zoom out, click off the box, and you'll be able to go right to that parcel.
Okay.
And it will show you who the developer is, and if you click down through, there'll also be any of the preliminary reports that have been filed, like an exploratory plan, and usually the drawings. I usually carry some, but I purged all the weight out of this portfolio the other day. But it'll show you what the layout is, the preliminary layout for the house lots, how big they are, and the orientation. But they're all residential as far as I know. There's nothing really crazy, because most of that has to have a lot of open spaces, at least 50% or better on the Wilmington side, and I believe it's even higher on the other side. We actually worked with the developer when they were doing the Overlook, Greenville Overlook, with the Civic League, and pushed for a little bit more. And there's some steep slopes and grades which will affect that as well. They can't go there.
Okay. Yeah, is there, I'll look, but is there any other concerns about the chemicals and all that sort
No,
of thing?
building-
Because I am aware of that one building that sits
Yeah, all the way at the top.
on that hill where they developed Agent
Yeah.
Orange. It's still there.
Yep. Yeah, they did, for the golf course, they did remove all of the arsenic back when Toll Brothers did Greenville Overlook. And they basically, I don't want to say rotomill, because it's dirt, but they scraped up the top 12 to 18 inches of dirt, hauled that away, took it to an incinerator, and then using a closed loop incinerator, basically cooked the dirt to get the chemicals out and extracted it. So there's none of that left. And I always laugh because arsenic makes golf course green to our human eye. Doesn't really do anything else for it, but it makes it look pretty. So that's very common in golf courses. As far as anything else, they did a full report, and I know we worked with the Civic League, and there was a guy who worked at the DuPont experimental station in the labs. He was adamant about doing a whole lot of extra testing, and they did that and paid for it, and there was nothing else found to be egregious. It was all normal trace levels of the normal things you find.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was intimately involved through Westminster at that time. I was the president of the association. I dropped out for a little while. I'm back.
That's how it works.
I care. And so I was just kind of more concerned about that particular building that's still there. And it's chained up and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're still
Particularly nasty
using
looking
that
spot.
building. I'm not sure if they're still using that building, or if that is, just.
Yeah, nobody goes in there.
Yeah, there's another one up there, one of the labs behind, trying to get my orientation. I think it's up higher from Greenville Overlook, the Atlas Chemical, Hercules, one of those, but it's one of the subsidiaries, they still have things in there. The one I know you're talking about is the one way up on the hill.
Yeah.
I just remembered now, that's the one that's on the top of the hill, and yeah, they
Things
actually,
been locked up.
yeah, they've been
Nasty
in,
signs everywhere saying, get away from the.
that's the brick one
Real
on top of the hill.
self-destruct.
Yeah, that's the one that's on our side, so when that comes through, we'll see a plan from the developer, and we'll also get all of the reports from DENREC, because they have to provide all of that, Department of Natural Resources, Environmental Control, and acronyms, so, yeah, we'll take a look.
We kept abreast of that.
Yeah, and that one's not gonna be super big, I can't remember, but I know it's less than, and I think this is way overstated, I wanna say it's like something around 35 or less homes, and the lots will be fairly large, and with the areas that will be completely untouched. Yes, we got one of the areas.
I think Toll Brothers initially had big parts of that, like right up on that,
Yep.
right up on that crest, like the two biggest homes they were ever gonna make,
Yeah,
the
they had-
models anyway.
They had everything on both sides of that originally,
It really was.
and that was one of the last ones they did in Delaware, because they had said something to the effect that it takes so long to get through the process that they were done in Delaware, and then they showed up when the economy ticked up and everything else. Want a big house, so they built it.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah, but we'll keep that one on there, we'll put it on the agendas when it goes out, if it comes in, and once they file, Janet, our councilperson, your councilperson too, will give us a heads up on the preliminary plan and the exploratories, and then they usually come in and present that as they're going through, so we'll get to see what it looks like and ask questions. Yeah, come on down anytime, third Monday of most months, except July, August, and December, and we give everybody a little time off. Anything else on land use? Okay, Pete, I'm going to have you jump up and talk about history.
Sure thing.
Pete Seeley is the president of the Oakesson Historical Society.
Which most people don't even know that we have.
Very
And
true.
when they go back to the Hack Center, they wonder what that weird building is that's right up on the front corner. But we're looking for more volunteers and to eventually have that building open for people more often. But it is available to go through and tour if you give us an email. We'll open it up for you and do a personal tour or a group tour, whichever you prefer. I have all of our updates. There's so many of them on a sheet that's on the back table, so please take one on your way out. We just got the James Jackson House listed on the National Park Service Network to Freedom site. If you're not familiar with that house, you wouldn't know it by that name, but it is the white building as you're going up the hill past Valley Road on 41. There's a chiropractic center, and that was a station on the Underground Railroad. And we were able to do enough research to prove that that family was actually helping to get people to freedom. The important part is that the site has a bunch of dots on it, and it shows where all the sites are for the Underground Railroad, and we were missing them all in this area. And they were definitely coming through this area. So there were definitely people helping the slaves to get to freedom here, and we're making that history documented, and that's really important for our area. I also have, before that time period, Native American artifacts that are on the back table. So if you would like to check them out, please look at them. They were found on a property that's half a mile away from here, and they're all around in the ground. So all around here, if you're digging in your garden, my grandma used to find them all the time when the farmers would plow the fields. She had a huge jar of arrowheads that she found. So you'll find fragments of them, and if you look at the display, you'll get an idea of what you can actually find. They're usually not whole arrowheads, they're usually partial pieces. And so it'll give you an idea of what to look for. Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, I joined the Hockessin Historical Society. Pete's been a great resource, and there's a new historical marker down on Stony Battle Road, and he gave me some resources to look more into that, since my parents' home in Limestone Hills backs up to that area. And then some of those artifacts in the back, you have like local white quartz, and you have some Iron Hill Church. So if anybody wants to check that out after, I have some base knowledge of archaeology, and we can talk about what we have there. So Pete's just been fantastic, and I just encourage everybody to join the society. It's $15 a year, and a lot of opportunity to learn and attend different talks and things about the area.
How much research did you do into that so far?
Into Stony Valley?
Yeah.
Or all? Yeah.
Did you get that?
I saw this. I didn't get to attend this. Do you want me to speak to it?
No, you keep that. But again, you can talk about it too.
Yeah, just real quick. I mean, when after the Battle of Cooch's Bridge, the British marched up Route 4 and then Limestone Road, and they camped on the east side of Mill Creek. So that's over near the driving range. That's over near, that opposite side of Graves Road going up the hill. And then the Continentals marched the same way, and they camped on the west side of Mill Creek. And they had set up, basically they were shooting at each other, and there were some skirmishes around that area. So if you go down Stony Battle Road on the right side, like driving towards the driving range, you'll see a new historical marker. And we have done some metal detecting back there. We found a maniple. We found some brass buttons, 1805 large cent. And one of that property that was leveled, it used to be a doctor's office, coming up the hill on Stony Battle, if you look on the right before the apartments. And that's marked on a lot of historical maps. So a lot of really historically significant properties over there. But it was we have here, right in Hockessin, a very significant site for the Revolutionary War.
All right, thank you.
And I won't bother you with all of our other updates, but they're all on the sheet of paper. If you have any questions, just let me know. Send me an email.
And when's the next meeting, Pete?
We're supposed to have meetings?
Yeah, well, whenever.
Usually when we had meetings, nobody would come to them. So I'm working on our end-of-year financial reports, and we have to have a group meeting. With COVID coming around again, every time I think of having a meeting, people say there's COVID again, and then nobody wants to show up for a meeting. So
August outside.
We're all COVID now.
So I think maybe a virtual meeting maybe would be best, just to start with. But I think that would make more people attend.
And I'll ask, are you planning on doing like a holiday opening at the Tweets Museum?
We should. That's what my mother wants to,
Yeah.
thinks that we should do, is
Yeah.
something like that.
That'd be pretty neat.
We're trying to have a display at the Hockessin Halloween program, so we'll see. But we should have that building open more often. The biggest issue we have is that other people use that park, and sometimes they have soccer programs going on, and that means that we have no parking.
Right.
So if we schedule something in advance, sometimes it doesn't work out as well as we hoped for.
Just put up signs, historic society only.
We're supposed to have 63 parking spots in the upper level of the parking garage, but we can't sit there and kick people out of the parking spots or, have people hold the spots.
Put meters in. It's gotta be one. All right, well, thank you, Pete.
Sure.
And, again, they've got a nice website, and as always, keeps looking for volunteers. Speaking of volunteers, we have Bill Hutchins with the Odessa Business Association.
Thank you, Mark.
I think we've got some stuff coming up.
Our meeting is tomorrow night at Lamborn Library, courtesy of our friends at the Historical Society who have graciously allowed us to use the space. Tomorrow we have Michelle Rufo speaking to us about all the good things that she is doing next door in the old White House. They're doing some things in there, so Michelle will discuss all the things that are planned there. Our annual Halloween parade for the Calder Party is scheduled for the 28th of October, Saturday, from 11 to 3. Charles Shattuck from Wild Boats Unlimited has been doing yeoman's work in recruiting and getting various businesses to participate. This year we are getting some assistance from the Delaware State Troopers. We're going to have a volunteer come out to help us direct traffic, as well as hoping to have some signs similar to the ones that you guys had for the parade, just to announce to the community or drivers that there will be an event on the 28th. So that's, again, less than 2 weeks. So you'll be a bunch of scary bunch of kids running around in costumes.
During the day.
Yeah, so hopefully, we're supposed to get rain this weekend, but hopefully not that weekend. So that's what our plans are.
Thank you, and I know.
Yes, Mark?
Is there any talk about the old George and Sons building? Is anybody talking about moving in, or is there any stuff?
Not that has been shared with us. I mean, I know George Esselin, and I understand he's looking or potentially looking for another place, but no, I haven't heard anything. We haven't heard anything from the Business Association as to what the plans are.
And the building right next to Rufo's Law Firm, I think that was owned by the Swift family. There's nothing's happened with that one either. We have a couple of empty business storefronts on Old Lancaster Pike. But,
I can tell you from I'll put on my insurance hat on for a second. That from a restaurant perspective that George had in there, the insurance folks are kind of easy in terms of the age of the building and the things like that. So I'm not sure, and the fact that there were there were apartments on top of that. So I don't know if another commercial space will move into that particular point. I can't speak to what the owner plans on doing with it, but nothing has been shared with the Odessa Business Association as to what the plans are.
could be just storefronts for something boutique. I would joke pizza salon, probably a pizza or a salon or a nail place, right? Those seem to be the popular thing. We have a lot.
I don't know if anybody from the Lake family is still around who can speak to it, because they previously, I think the legacy is that they had owned it at one point.
Yeah, that was the old general store.
Yeah, and then they sold to Hank, and then whatever.
And yeah, I remember talking with Charles about the Odessa, Halloween in Odessa. It's like, how do you get the signs? Like, here's the contact at Del Doc, reach out early, so.
Well, unfortunately, we asked, we reached out to Mike Smith to get his assistance, and I think he intervened on our behalf to kind of, again, our concerns is that as people come down in both directions, Lancaster Pike coming north and south, the signs are just going to letting people know, because we will have people coming across, right here at the Wallet and the fire company across 41. So we just want to make sure that people will be going slow. And then Old Lancaster Pike will be filled with kids.
If you want, I have a bunch of traffic cones from the 4th of July that you could use at high visibility to help. I know last year Bill was out, I saw him when I was going by, he's out here with his stop sign and putting cones out and things moving around wearing his
How do you
vest.
take you up on that offer, Mark?
So, got a bunch of cones that'll help, and they're nice, I got 2 lime green ones, so a little different, which makes people.
I may reach out and take you up on your offer.
Yeah, anything to kind of slow people down when they come through. By the way, if you're out and about, I will tell you this, I'm always going up and down the road. For some reason, everybody coming from PA is in a real hurry to get through here, coming down the hill. And I always sit there coming off of Valley, making that right, and I look over and I can barely see now because DelDOT hasn't trimmed the greenery, but you can see the electronic speed sign. My new record is 68. I witnessed trucks and cars coming down at 68 miles an hour, and it's supposed to be 35. So I can call it in.
That's not over there.
We need a speed bump so they launch in the air.
Yeah, that would go really well.
It's crazy, but at night it's the same way going the other way. They're all flying up the hill just as fast. They're in a hurry to get home, I guess. And I have to say, no offense to those folks that live in PA, but it's probably 80-20 PA to Delaware, so just don't know what it is. But that's anywhere. If you're on the Jersey border, there'll be people there too. So,
An accident today at Lancaster Pike in the building where
on the inside,
somebody pulling out of the building.
pulling out, yeah.
Plus vehicles are flying up.
So, yeah.
And we're gonna have the daylight savings, which is gonna make it even worse. We're gonna be leaving in the dark and coming home in the dark very soon, so.